Hello, in today's video we'll be changing the oil on the 2010 Chevy Malibu. And we begin by lifting the vehicle with a jack. I use this vehicle's pinch weld to lift the car. And you always want to be sure to support it using a jack stand. And here you will locate the engine's oil pan and drain bolt. And you want to be sure to position your oil drain pan to catch any oil that will drain slightly forward and right underneath to avoid any spills. And you will need a 15mm socket or wrench to loosen this drain bolt. And we will now loosen and remove this drain bolt by turning it counterclockwise. And you should now be able to loosen the rest by hand. And you want to push in as you loosen the drain bolt so you have control when the oil comes out. And once you feel that the drain bolt's off the threads, you could just pull back. And you want to let this drain for a few minutes. And you want to make sure that the gasket's still intact and in good shape. And once you've let it drain for a few minutes, you can now reinstall the bolt. And I like to clean the area around it to make sure there's no oil leaks. And you want to be sure that you tighten it using the ratchet. And you can now remove the jack stand and lower the vehicle. And now to remove this oil filter, you will need a special 32mm socket like this to remove it. And you might need a longer ratchet to get enough leverage to loosen it. And once you get it off, you can just maneuver it around the wiring. And you could just wipe off any spills that you might get. And you want to pull out on the filter so you can separate it from the housing. And you want to pour out any remaining oil that may be left. And now to remove the old seal, you want to use a pick or a screwdriver to do so. There's a little notch on the housing so you can fit your screwdriver or a pick. And this is the oil filter that I'll be using. It should include a new seal and a new oil filter cartridge. And now to install a new seal. And you want to be sure that it's in properly into the groove all around. And now to snap in the new cartridge. And I like to clean the inside of the filter housing beforehand. And you want to use a 5W30 oil. And before installing the oil filter, you want to coat both seals with oil. I just put a little bit of oil on my finger and then lubricate both seals. This will help you avoid damaging the seal when reinstalling the oil filter. And we can now go ahead and install the oil filter. And you want to be sure to tighten as much as you can by hand. This will help you avoid damaging the threads. And we can now go ahead and tighten it using the ratchet. We can now go ahead and remove the oil fill cap so we can start pouring in the oil. I like to pour in about 4 quarts of oil and then I check the level. And you want to wipe off the first mark because it may have the oil level from before draining the oil. It's pretty much at the full mark, so I'll leave it like that for now. So I'll go ahead and reinstall everything and run it for about a minute and the oil level should drop. And as you start your vehicle, you want to make sure that the oil pressure light comes off. And you can now shut off the vehicle after verifying that the oil pressure light comes off. So the oil level dropped about half a quart, so I go ahead and add half a quart. So I go ahead and recheck the level. So that puts us at the full mark, and that pretty much concludes this video. I hope you guys found this video helpful and informative. Please hit that like button and consider subscribing.